Good evening and welcome to the November 2023 meeting of the Ruston Community Center Board of Governors. First order of business is to call this thing to order. Okay. Next order of business is the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the approval of the board minutes of October 2nd.
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the approval of the October 2nd board actions.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next order of business is the chair's remarks. The chair is a little bit scattered. We have my Esme was supposed to have her tonsils removed the week before her birthday in January, and they called and said Wednesday.
Wow.
So we're all in crazy panic mood and trying to be calm around her. So, now where is it?
So you have something to offer
So I
on
have
the
something
perils
here.
of tonsillectomies.
Yes. But my poem is not here. Just to say, you have a copy of it.
Yes.
Let me have it.
I'm bringing the computers.
And then I'll find it as soon as we're done here. The poem tonight is a poem about life, and it was interesting. Bill's not here, but Bill asked me the other night, he said, "Do you have a room full of books with poems in them?" No, I don't. This is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a joking company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Far off when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Thank you, ma'am.
It's the music one.
Yes,
And the music was-
times out just
I
right.
can believe it. The underscoring was great. I'll have to give him $5 for that. The next order of business is the introduction of visitors, and I'm so happy that we have one. Yes.
So
Kurt,
tonight,
thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
we're going to say a very fond farewell to Bill Keith, who has served at RCC on the Board of Governors since 2008, 15 years. And as many of you know, we have a tradition for board members who leave service with us to make a contribution of $100 for each year of service they've provided, up to a limit. There's a ceiling.
Fiscal
Sorry,
responsibility.
Kurt. Of $1,000. So, Bill has asked our contribution to be directed to the Ruston Museum. Kurt Rose, who is on the board of the Reston Museum, is with us tonight to receive this symbolic check. You want to stand up and
Do you want me over there?
yes, please come up here, and you can, and Bev, if you want to come stand in the middle, and
Why aren't you in the middle?
there we go, because you're the chair. All right. All right.
Whoop, hold on.
So careful.
Losing everything here. I got it.
Okay.
All right, now we're okay.
Awesome.
Well, this is something not worth $1,000. Our appreciation check. I'm thinking about everything we do really appreciate it. Reston. It's got all sorts of great Reston. It's got
Is it signed by Bob Simon?
signed by me. It's not worth it. Thank you so much.
Will be, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
well,
Kurt,
Thanks,
very
Kurt.
much.
Thank you, guys.
it's been
Speech.
a wonderful 15 years, I believe. But nonetheless, my daughter, Carrie, called me. She said, remember to put in your tooth. I'm having an implant. So she said, make sure you put your tooth in before the camera starts playing. And I noticed my picture's still out there in the foyer, so it's
Yeah,
the coup d'etat
tonight
hasn't
is
complete yet. so.
officially your finale.
But no, I chose the wonderful museum as everybody's heard the story. I studied in Reston graduate school, and one of my major professors was doing a study on comparing Columbia, Maryland, and Reston. And after 10 years, what community had met the original goals for their Newtown concept better than the other. And those goals he was focused on were the social goals of community, mix of opportunities and housing, etc. And he made the conclusion, a study that's still somewhere, Annals of Housing and Urban Development, that Bob Simon had loftier goals that were implemented a lot more significantly than Jim Rouse did at Columbia. And I had lunch with Rouse at the Plaza many years ago with Bob, and I brought up the study. That study was no good. But I think the museum has a real important mission these days. People are not quite grasping the Bob Simon ethic, I don't think. Lots of people in this room are well versed in Bob Simon's legacy. And what about people going forward? I think RCC will promote community, and what I'd love to see would be a focus on the future. So I have a gift in true NPR fashion. I'm going to match the money for you.
You spelled my name wrong.
So we have some gifts for you as well.
I'm gonna leave you guys to it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that.
Take the money and
No,
run.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Get your big check.
Thanks for all the money.
Going into the That was nice. So, as is our tradition, we like to give parting board members something really heavy to carry home. Yeah. So I should have brought scissors in here. This is going to be. Yeah. very strong.
All right.
It's from all of us. So go ahead and open that up. Here, you can do that, and this is for you to open at home.
Okay. Public property?
No,
Right.
no taxpayer dollars were spent on the bag.
The bag.
Huh. This is gonna be a little, another big.
Nice job.
Right, no stuff.
Allie Clements, she's one of our programming staff. She's quite gifted.
A few minutes. Oh.
Kind of anxious about Christmas morning.
I know. It's got one of those.
Santa Claus can try.
Yeah.
I can toss it.
I feel like we should all be standing up.
I know I did. That's why I was
But
like,
here, I
Like
think
this
it'd
about
be easier to put it on there.
Yukon basketball, season tickets. Now, really.
Whoa. This is
It's upside down. Okay. We won't take it all the way out. It's a beautiful desk collage.
Wow.
And for your time and
Wisdom?
talent.
I'm not sure.
Your time and your
Humor.
talent.
Humor.
Future.
Very nice, thank you.
Wow, yay.
Don't lose the instructions.
No, right.
Exactly.
Rest and hat, boy, cutting board no less.
Rest.
Bob's Bombay Gin, remember? His,
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. 1,000 thank yous.
This concludes our citizen input.
Yes. And the next order of business is the October 2nd Finance Committee meeting.
If you look in the committee reports tab of your binder, you will see the materials for that. We have all of the end of month closeout reports. Nothing particularly noteworthy there. Things are pretty well on track. The tax revenue is as expected, a little bit higher than normal. As a percentage basis, the interest revenue is substantially higher than normal, even more so than the taxes. The taxes were, the interest is really outperforming. And then we've got, always we have timing issues with the personnel stuff, but overall, everything is on track there. Also included in there is are the two memoranda that were submitted to the county. One for the next budget, topping out at about $13 million, and one for capital projects and equipment, which sum to just under $2 million. So those were submitted at our direction after the previous meeting. Also, our fund statements, you'll notice that everything is basically, again, pretty well on track. I want to say that our tax revenue is somewhere around 9 point a little bit million, and projected to move up into close to 11 over the next couple of years. The reserves, maintenance reserves are at about 1.3 million. That is set as a percentage. Feasibility study reserve also as a percentage, about 230 something K. Capital project reserve is a flat maximum of 7 million, and we're going to stay at that. And then the economic reserve, economic program reserve, I think is the name, somewhere around $300,000, and that's just basically everything that doesn't fit into the aforementioned categories. Each of the buckets gets filled in sequence, and whatever. Once we've maxed out all the previous one, the economic reserve gets filled, and so it's at a fairly modest amount. Time to build that up before the next downturn. So there you go. So those are the highlights. Any questions on the written committee report? I know I gave the spoken version of it last time. All right. And then the preference poll report. You'll notice that is also in there. I didn't see the preference poll report. I must have maybe.
Right
I
behind,
just saw it.
before the handout section.
Oh, there you go. It's in the minutes. Gotcha. It's in the minutes at the end of the minutes. And so you can see the results. Congratulations to Vicky, Bill, Essentia, and to Paul. And you can see the details of how the voting went. Pretty good. Obviously, always we get good representation from the residents. Not as much from the business, but still, something. And a bunch of recommendations are in here on the schedule, how we should lay this out, how the voting window, the candidate orientation, and all that sort of stuff should work. Also, how we sequence the stuff with the print cycle as well. Basically, most of the recommendation is that it not change for the most part. So you can see the strategies that are to be continued at the bottom. So, any questions on preference poll stuff? And thank you again to Bill Bowie for taking up the slack because I was sporadically unavailable.
Oh, how is the number voting, these percentages of the number voting, these are percentages of the total eligible to vote?
Yes, I mean that's dividing the number voted by the electorate.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yes.
And I was wondering, how does that compare to the last few years?
It's the same,
Same.
it's
Okay.
roughly the same, it's within tenths of a
Same.
percent of the, yes.
Yeah. The numbers are a little bit lower than last time, but not substantially.
Okay.
Uncontested elections.
Yeah. they don't-
Right, exactly. But when you have a contested election, you tend to have more votes.
Yeah, although, I think at the zenith of the stretch of time that we've had the online voting option with the mailed, one vote per household or one vote per business address, I don't think even in the most heated cycle of that, which really was around the exploration of the rec center concept, even that crested at about 2,000 overall ballots being cast. So it's not this has never been a barn burner of a competition process. And I think that's largely because the board's processes are so transparent, and they're also very structured in terms of the function of this agency as a county agency. So things like there aren't a lot of things that aren't prescribed by the regulations that govern county agencies for HR and purchasing and things of that matter. And we haven't had even really the last controversial capital project that the community center undertook was expanding from this one facility to a second facility at Lake Ann. That was controversial, but that was in 1999. So, I think people have gotten used to it.
Right. And so this number, just in terms of the, for the residential side, put a negative about 4.57%. I think last year, in the last contested year, it's maybe closer to 7%. 6-7%, something like that, so a little bit higher. But, I mean, even the numbers that a lot of us talked about, that still doesn't get you to 10%. So, between about 5 and 10% contested, it was just slightly lower than
Okay.
that. Other questions?
Move to accept both reports.
You anticipated my question there.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the board member input on activities attended since last we were here. Let's start with, we started with Shane last. So we'll start with.
We have to start with Dan.
Yeah,
This is
that's
still
right.
the
I'm
order.
looking at you. You're looking at me, but I wasn't sure. He's not on the board, yeah.
Just
I
yet.
don't
Yeah,
know.
but
Oh,
not yet.
Not yet.
No, you gotta wait a few minutes.
Yeah, well, this last month, we went to the Fresh Mountain concert, which we both Mary and I went, and we both thought it was really terrific. Quite amazing musicianship of the performers. And I went also to the Fairfax Arts Festival and Fairfax Arts Awards. And that was a lot of fun. And nice to meet people that I haven't met all the time, or very frequently. And it's nice to go to that Capital One venue, which is really quite magnificent. Really good. So that was mainly what I did in terms of RCC stuff.
Okay. I'm feeling a little bit like Bill and Lyle. I put it, this time I put it in my phone, so I also attended Fresh Mountain. They were phenomenal, and for those of you who went, it was right after the war broke out in Israel, and the audience was really taken back by a lot of different things, and it was just a moving experience in a lot of ways. So it was neat to have them there, and the artists they spoke about it. They took time to talk about how important it was for their family. So it was very moving, so, and I loved it. But in my mind, when I was talking to Petey, I was like, wait a minute, bluegrass? Yes, how does that even happen? And it was really neat. It was really neat. And they mixed some prayers in there. So I definitely will kind of keep them in mind, because I thought it was very interesting. I also saw We Feed People, which is quite neat. And they tried to talk me to something in Reston. So I saw We the People. I also went to Arts Fairfax. Did the, what else did we, the South Lakes High School Food Pantry. I think Minnie was there. They did a little race and getting mine at 0.05K, which is really good. You get donuts along the way, and this time you get little bun cakes, so it was really good on that line. And I attended the Fall Festival at the Kathy Hudgens Community Center at Southgate Community. And it was well attended. This time they had only one food truck, but one of the kids who grew up there said, hey, there were tons of food trucks before. I said, well, we'll work on that. But it was a very hot day. That was one of the days it was 80, and they weren't expecting that, but they had not hot chocolate, they had just a lot of good different foods and it was well attended. So they had neighborhood community things, and then food for the family. So it was, I think, from 12 to 4. I also attended the Look Dine-In experience. I got these tickets, like, when is it? Apparently they had 2 nights.
They had like 4 or 5.
4, okay, so I think the one I went to might have been just after Halloween, but as I went to go, it was nice, but we loved it, but a little bit too much activity to trying to watch it. The person next to me kept on ordering food. I was like, how come can you eat during a movie? It was so, but it was nice. It in the theater, so that was nice to go. There were a lot of people there, a lot of different people.
Well, we got these tickets that you sent out on the 11th.
Yeah.
So, okay. Is that supposed to be an RCC?
No, they sent they're doing basically a soft opening rollout, and they sent a lot of community organizations an invitation, and I just forwarded it to everybody. And I forwarded it also to, we had staff who also attended, so this was one of the rare things that I didn't have to collect RSVP information, so I didn't have to keep hounding you for are you going or not going. So,
I mean, once you did it, they sent you, so you had tickets. But
yeah, you
nice,
had to click the link yourself
in,
to pick your date and time.
But it was nice. I think they're training the new people how to serve and do that, so it was quite nice. And then what else did I do? Also, the core gala, I guess that doesn't count because that was in November, but we were here. They're very grateful that we hosted it for them. We talked to a lot of core people that were happy about that. There's one other thing I did. No, I think that is everything.
Busy.
Yeah, it was very busy. Almost every single weekend. Oh yeah, did I say Arts?
Yeah.
Everybody did Arts Fairfax, and then I think that was just about everything.
Okay, good for you.
Thank you, Lisa, for attending so patiently. I spent the month in hibernation, basically.
That's okay. I was there in spirit. We had a tandem. I was there.
Lots of meetings. Lots of meetings. But we did receive our new CAPRA accreditation with a perfect score. Again.
Congratulations.
So
The park
that's
authority.
good, the park authority. And,
Your other board.
and I did get a chance to participate in a meeting. Supervisor Alcorn, Robert Gowdy, Lila, and John Farrell from Wrestling Association to talk about the future of potential public partnerships on public facilities. And there's supposed to be a follow-up to that after a robust discussion.
We shall see.
That's
Okay.
it.
Let's see, I attended a concert at the Wrestling Town Center, the park on the green there. Darden and Friends, which was great, and so RCC sponsored that and helped support that. So that was really good. Got a chance to meet Darden Purcell, and she was really good. And she brought 3 of her students who were the vocalists, and she joined them at times, and so it was really great hearing the GMU students doing their thing. And, so that was very good. The Look Theater opening, finally saw the Barbie movie, so that was lovely. By the way, when you go, make sure you stop by to get one of the little cups
Cups on the way out.
because it's got a card in there that allows you to go to all the movies you want for the rest of the calendar year.
Yeah.
So don't.
Yeah, only one movie a day though. Get the cards like that.
Only one movie a day.
A day.
I know, so
A day.
yeah, cramping my style. And then I do need to take issue with one thing. It's a mathematical thing. The race is 10 times longer than you said it was. It was a 0.5K, not a 0.05K. So just to be clear, it's a 0.5K. It's only half a K.
Okay, good
not
point in the wrong place.
Not 500ths of a
Oh,
K.
sorry. Yeah, it's like 600
half
steps.
half a
max.
K. And
Sorry about that, Paul.
so I did that and helped start one of the heats, and that was really good. And frankly, most of my time has been spent driving to and from Charlottesville for Kevin the marching band performances, which happened during some crappy football teams' attempts to win games. So
That's
the football
a
team is
tradition.
not good.
That's a
The football team is
tradition.
not good, but
They
the
were
Kevin
good
the
for like
marching
6
band
years,
is
and that was
getting
it.
it
That's
done.
good.
So anyway.
It's okay. That's a tradition.
That's what we go.
I attended the Look Dying opening as well. I don't know, were the escalators working? usually?
No.
Yeah, actually, it was working as a staircase.
Yes. And I admittedly never went to Bow Tie, so I didn't know what I was comparing it to, but I thought it was a good remodel. And then the thing I was most excited about is I was able to bring in a few of my neighbors from my new apartment complex to RCC 2 weekends ago to show them where the facility was, to talk about our programming. They had no idea. So hopefully they'll continue to spread that word as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the things you did, I did. We feed people, which was just amazing. The Arts Fairfax, the Cornerstones event, the Look event, the Core event, the Thresh Mountain event. I got my 3 shots. Everybody get your COVID, flu, and RSV. And for some reason I'm totally having a block on the name of the play that the RCC players did.
Avenue Q.
Thank you, I could not think of it. I couldn't think of it, because I've been showing Esme Shuffle Off the Buffalo, so I've been stuck on that whole thing. So, okay, so I saw Avenue Q, and then I had a birthday.
Yes.
Yay. So I got to eat several times last week, and I will be doing that this weekend, next week, so my birthday continues. Okay, now we will adjourn this meeting of the 2022-2023 board at 8, we're early, 34. And now, we will convene the new board. I will be acting chair now. So the first order of business is the nominating committee, proposed officer slate.
The nominating committee proposes the following slate. Bev Caution as chair, Bill Dooley as vice chair, Lisa Earhart as secretary, and Paul Thomas as treasurer. And we've talked with all of them, and they've all agreed to serve another term, and so that's what we propose.
So now
So there's a second, is there a second? Discussion, call the question.
I do this, sir.
Okay.
We should,
Call the question.
Call the question.
I move that we adopt the slate as proposed.
That's already, that part's already done.
That's what we.
Now we just need to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So the new board will now seat. Anybody moving seats? Anybody moving? And we welcome Paul, who is a
Very happy to be here.
You say that now.
Come on, there's Cassie Campbell.
Okay, we seated everybody. My new chair remarks are welcome, everybody. We will continue to do what we've been doing with lots of meetings. Okay.
For the immediate future anyway.
For the, yes. Now, the next order of business is the executive director's report.
Okay, so if you turn to the last tab and take a look, the bidding process for the energy utilization improvement project is in progress. There are, I think, about 9 firms that are in the process of touring the facility and looking at the bid documents, and so there should be a robust response to the bid. And then we also have one of the 3 required signatures from our neighbors for the design review board submission, which apparently, even though no one will be able to see the solar panels because they are an exterior new feature, they will need to weigh in. And also the RCC on Wheels charging station. I think the DRB also has to approve that. We have a purchase order for the elevator replacement project. As you know, that will occur next summer as well. It's a it has a long lead time set of purchasing time horizons for different components of that, and that has begun. We received a new light board for the center stage, and that has been installed in October. And we are nearing completion of the specs on the RCC on Wheels vehicle, and we'll be getting information back from that vendor about the timeline for that purchase. I provided a table here per your request of some of the data points on the Reston Multicultural Festival cancellation that you can see. We did achieve some savings out of the $106,000 estimated event budget. We spent roughly $73,500. Actual costs go up and down, but we got back about $32,400 from the logistics contracts and that was made possible both because we canceled on Thursday, and so they hadn't done a lot of the loading that would normally have occurred on Friday, loading trucks and unloading trucks. And we saved some personnel costs, as you can see there. We did some research, as you asked, into event insurance, and at least the data we've gotten so far suggests that it would be prohibitively expensive. It would cost more than we would want to load onto this scale of an event. And then one of the data points that offsite and collaboration team reported to me was that in addition to being expensive, it's very hard to collect. So, which anybody who's bought traveler's insurance
That's just what I was thinking. The travel
can
insurance.
attest to
that makes sense.
that the insurance companies are very happy to sell you a policy. It's the reluctance comes on the other end of the experience. And you all mentioned the Nefesh Mountain performance and the impact of that, so that was really wonderful. We established or achieved some programming outcomes that were really partner-driven, and you mentioned those, the Darden and Friends event. The final event of the season, which was the concert, I think, after the one we went to, had an audience of 400 people. You mentioned the film, We Feed People. That was a joint effort with the Washington West Film Festival, so that was a good experience. We made a great showing at Arts Fairfax Arts Awards. And I think it's also notable that for the second time, the county's Juvenile Justice Reform Conference, which is a conference that brings together judges and all of the staff who are involved in the domestic and juvenile relations court system. And they took over the whole facility here at Hunters Woods. They used the center stage, and they had a convening here in the community room, and it was a full day of, it's like a kind of in-service for all of those people to explore and discuss those issues. We're still seeing increases in participation in program offerings. A couple of notable events in October. We had Full House, the 300 people for the Halloween Family Fun Day, which is pre-COVID maximum number, so we're back with that particular event. And the Boo at the Pool event attracted 168 participants, of which 70 were little swimmers going for goodies in the water. The County Connections podcast featured Maggie Parker talking about our new offsite and collaboration department. And last Friday, the website design project team received Outstanding Performance Awards. And our media team was also able to achieve a lot of notice in both online social media platforms as well as what is now all online, the news outlets for the community. We do get paper connections still and paper versions of the Reston letter in our shelf, our news rack out there, but most people access these stories online. We are working on compiling the evidence of compliance materials for the CAPRA standards. We'll probably have a suite of document approvals for the January planning discussion. Some of our documents, of course, the strategic plan update is an annual CAPRA related requirement in terms of review, but also there are some other policy documents that need to be at least revisited annually, so you'll get all of that in your packages. There are no big surprises there. We hired a new aquatics operations director, Ryan Kasperwitz, and Ryan has been a lifeguard with us for more than a decade, so he will be able to step into that role fully prepped and ready to handle that. And then I also attend meetings on a regular basis, so that's your October report. Lots of good stuff.
Next order of business, is there any continuing business? Anything we
Do you want me to change
Yes.
old business to
Yes.
continuing
Let's
business?
just throw that old word out.
Okay, we'll put it in parentheses. for you.
Okay, because I always write it on mine.
I know you. And everybody looks like, what is she?
What is she talking
about?
about?
What is she talking
Continuing
about?
business.
Well, I just can piggyback a little bit off what I said earlier and then Lila said. I was at the home tour. I also did the Reston home tour. And ran into a friend who is actually, she lived in Reston a long time ago. Our kids went to preschool together. And she said, well, I saw you the other night. Because usually I see somebody, she goes, no, it was at the concert. She was talking about the Nefesh concert. And she said it was how important it was. She goes, many of our friends here, there's a room of all these Jewish people that live in Reston. I didn't think about, I knew there were a lot of Jewish people there. She goes, we really needed that. So she said it was very special. And they felt that during a time when it was just very difficult to come out in a community that's always been welcoming. I just wanted to share that because I was like, oh, I just thought it was a great concert, but I could feel what's happening in the room. She goes, no, it was really important to come out and see friends. And a lot of people were gathering.
Yeah.
So the music was the bonus, but they could actually gather in community. So.
Yeah, I think we got several RCC contact emails about it, and the two things that each one of them reflected on was the feeling of safety that they have in this community and in this space, and that's not been completely typical everywhere in the country. And also that, that there was an acknowledgement of the massacre, and that people didn't try to ignore it or gloss over it, but that it was acknowledged and that they had the space to sit in that emotion.
Yeah. That's what she said. At first we started talking, I wasn't listening. I was listening, but not getting it. And then she goes, no, it was very important that we had the space, and that we could be there. So I was like, wow. So RCC does a lot, and it shows up in different ways. So that was really
Has there been any signs of anti-Semitism with respect to the community center?
No, in fact,
No,
exactly
nothing
the
written on the walls
opposite.
or anything?
I don't know how many of you are aware that there's a tradition in Reston between the Northern Virginia Hebrew congregation and the All Dulles Area Muslim Society. They have worshiped together very frequently, and NVHC lets their space, their temple, be used by Adams for Reston located prayer services on Fridays.
Friday afternoons at noon,
And the imam with Adams reached out to the rabbi and asked if if it would be better for them to forego it the Friday immediately after the October 7th event. And the rabbi said, no, this is when we need to be together. And so they did. They both attended each other's services that week after the massacre. And we have a Muslim group that meets here in this space every Friday. And they have come and gone without any duress or difficulty. And I don't think that, at least to my knowledge, that anybody at programs in our facilities or in other spaces in this community, that there has been a strife that you have seen in some other places. And I think it's because there is a long Reston tradition of outreach and discussion and exploration. And I think, people may not be aware that a great many Jewish people are as troubled by what is happening in Gaza as Muslim and Arabic people are. And I think that has been more the case in Reston.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it wouldn't have occurred to me that Muslim organizations or the Jewish organizations might have had some strife amongst them, but the anti-Semitism and Islamophobia that I've read about in the newspapers are really by outside crazies.
Well, there's been, real difficulty in those communities. And there's significant, there was an article, I can never remember whether I read it in the New York Times or I read it in the Washington Post, but it was a dialogue between two women who knew each other. One of them was Jewish, the other was Black, and they had completely different perspectives about what's happening over there. And they were surrounded by really, this is a very emotional, very high volume dialogue that's occurring, and it's often people yelling over each other and not necessarily creating space and time to listen or to exchange views. But there's not, I think that in every community there are people who feel so passionately that in the heat of their passion they do things they wouldn't necessarily do otherwise. I think of the students who are tearing flyers down from notice boards or things like that. And I think it's just it's a very fraught, difficult set of issues.
There's no evidence of that around here.
Not that we're aware of. Not that, I think there's deep, profound concern.
No continuing business, huh? Any new business? Nothing new?
Just want to remind people about the two events down here.
And the parade will be in the next.
And the
one, too.
parade. And as we conclude, I want to remind all of you that I need a head count from you if you plan to attend the parade, because we have seats that, by virtue of our sponsorship, we can occupy. So if you would let me know that tonight, I would greatly appreciate it.
I do have one piece of new business. Reston Ford is teaming up with Cornerstones again for a hot Thanksgiving meal delivery on the day of Thanksgiving. So we work with Makers Union in the town center and Thompson Hospitality and Parent Company. You can buy a turkey and sides, and they'll match turkey and sides for another family in need. They're also doing plates this year because it's just individuals. And it's getting a lot more marketing this year. So Boston Properties is putting it all over the town center in their elevators digitally, and they're sending it to every tenant, resident, or office that they have. So
Cool.
keep a lookout for that.
I'll take 2 dinners.
All right, I'll send it away.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. And of course, our food drive is.
Yeah.
I read the thing that Kevin will not be there this year. Okay, and the parade 4 for me.
4.
20 for me. I'm worried.
No, we're about 6. We have 6 if everyone shows up.
I'm worried there's no
What we
reason.
done for the parade, will it be posted for many?
It should be, the sidewalks are all
It's just the
accessible,
sidewalks.
and the grants, there's a grandstand, but, I don't think she won't be able to go up on the grandstand, but she can be right next to it.
Okay, put us down.
And she's next with people, yeah, people sit, yeah, she'll be all right, people sit.
I mean, I haven't asked you, but I
Okay.
will presume.
Right.
Keep moving up before, please.
It's the day
It's
after
Friday.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Thanksgiving.
Friday the 24th, I guess.
Do you know?
Sit on your lap.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I just realized when I wrote down here, continuing our tradition of having multiple names, we still now have 2 Bills, now we have 2 Pauls.
Right.
We have to start using initials, Paul, E and Paul.
Well, can you put it up for 2, please?
2, got it. Excellent.
I'm gonna keep my record.
He's not covered.
0.
Zero.
I'll take,
She'll take mine.
3, 4.
I'll take his 2.
Take mine.
All
But
right.
that's why I think 6, because usually someone doesn't come.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. I think I have all of you. Thank you very much. Good job.
Okay. Does anybody want to say anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, I didn't get a chance to think about that. Oh,
It's a discussion.
quick, to a quick.
It's been moved and second. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.